Let's face it, automakers, and every other type of company for that matter, are primarily profit-driven, and getting new vehicle models from concept to production is extremely expensive. Because of this, automakers like to create vehicle platforms. A vehicle platform can be thought of as a modifiable foundation upon which any number of possible vehicles can be built. Vehicles built on the same platform will share many of the same components and underlying systems. This allows the automaker to cut down on the design costs and often allows for multiple models to have their components assembled on the same production line, which further cuts down costs. It can also make it easier for automakers to push out new models far more quickly. For example, Tesla utilizes its third generation platform for both the Model 3 and the Model Y. In this case, using a shared platform was exactly the right thing to do because most of the critical driving components are able to remain the same between both vehicles. And because so much of Model Y is based on Model 3, it significantly cut down development costs, development time, and allowed Tesla to go from a pre-production debut to a production vehicle in less than a year. This all works great, but when things go a little bit Pete-tong is when automakers attempt to share a single platform across multiple different drivetrains. In other words, when they try to make an EV on a platform which was originally designed for an internal combustion engine vehicle. Electric vehicles are frankly very different from their ICE counterparts. They don't require an engine, they don't require a gas tank, or even a geared transmission. Instead, they need batteries, electric motors, and sophisticated thermal management systems for those batteries. These major systems need to be switched out when engineering an EV on an ICE platform. But the ideal EV components are physically not one-to-one replacements with their petrol vehicle variants. You can not simply remove an engine and replace it with an electric motor, or swap out a petrol tank for a battery pack. There are compromises to be made. And these compromises often result in compromised vehicles, either with poor handling, or sometimes poor performance, subpar load carrying capabilities, or perhaps even weird quirks that just makes life with them just frustrating. For this reason, it's important for all automakers to begin bringing to market what we know as GroundUp EVs. GroundUp EVs are electric vehicles that were designed on a platform which were always intended to be used solely for electric powertrains. Just some of the vehicles which fall into this category include the aforementioned Teslas, as well as the Rivian R1T and R1S, and the Porsche Taycan, and many, many other cars. Even though investing in GroundUp EV platforms provides many, many long-term benefits to automakers and to their customers, some companies are still choosing to design their electric vehicles on exactly the same platforms as their pre-existing ICE cars, or on a platform that's, for example, shared between a plug-in hybrid, a hybrid, and a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. Honda did just that with the Clarity EV, which shared its platform with the Clarity FCV and the Clarity PHEV. And Ford based the original Ford Focus Electric on its internal combustion engine car. Both of these vehicles ended up with ranges of less than 120 miles, and the Ford Focus EV had a terrible load bay that was made smaller because a shoehorned battery pack was put inside. Neither was designed with a front trunk either, which many brand new GroundUp EVs are. The latter point is important because one commonality that most shared platform EVs have is that they tend to waste a lot of space under the hood. GroundUp EVs can take advantage of this by placing the motors lower down and using the remaining volume for additional storage space. However, shared platform EVs don't usually have this luxury, even in cases of the Hyundai Kona and Kia e-Niro, which are widely seen as some of the most competent examples of shared platform EVs. The ICE compatibility with the design has left hood space underutilized, although both the Kona and e-Niro have excellent load bay space in the rear. Whenever a vehicle is designed with the initial intent of being electric, engineers can design the car around all of the critical components. The battery, the entire battery pack, can be put as part of the chassis. Transmission tunnels can be removed, and petrol tanks can just be forgotten about. In short, GroundUp EVs generally end up being better optimized electric vehicles because they don't need to conform to some kind of ICE design requirement. Shared platform EVs might, maybe, make sense for companies which don't want to invest heavily in the long-term future of EVs, and they may help the company save money in the short term. But the companies that do this are looking like they may become unstuck when tightening regulations makes EV production not just an option, but a requirement. If a company wants to be a long-term player in the electric vehicle space, personally, we believe that they need to bite the bullet and design a dedicated EV platform. Which brings us to BMW. It's no stranger to electric vehicles. The i3 began production all the way back in 2013, and the i8. Both of them were built on BMW's Live Drive platform. That platform was a breakthrough, and both vehicles used exciting new construction materials like carbon fibre reinforced plastic and seats made from recycled drinks bottles. In its early days, the i3 and its unique construction meant it was far more efficient than many other electric cars on the road. It showcased that it's not always about the battery pack capacity, but about how efficient the overall vehicle is. But the i3 and the i8 presented their own unique challenges, accident repair being one of the biggest ones, as it required a completely different set of skills and tools to repairing traditional steel and aluminium vehicles. Despite using less energy to make, BMW has pretty much ditched the idea of CFRP for its mainstream brand, and thus it's making electric vehicles with steel and aluminium components instead. It says it wants to electrify and have all electric variants of every internal combustion model now on sale. And sadly, this means BMW is moving back towards shared platforms. The next vehicle in the i family will be the i4. It will use BMW's CLAR platform. It's a modular cluster platform, and it's also used for petrol-powered vehicles. And to be honest, this feels like a step backwards for the brand. Here at the channel, we want to accelerate the transition to cleaner, greener vehicles, and right now, the rate of this transition will be dependent on the quality of the electric vehicles entering into the marketplace. Honestly, we hope brands like BMW will start making more of a dedicated effort with their electric vehicle programs. But it's not just us saying it. The BMW Works Council has also come out in support of developing an all-electric platform. The Works Council is a body of elected employee representatives who advocate on behalf of the workforce, a union. The chairman of the Works recently told the German Der Spiegel magazine, quote, "Only with our own e-architecture can we fully exploit the advantages of an electric vehicle." Frankly, if your own employees are saying you need to do something, then I would respectfully suggest you may want to listen to them. Unfortunately, BMW has not changed its tune on new electric vehicle architectures. All of the upcoming electric BMWs that we know about will be based off of existing gas vehicles and/or some kind of flexible architecture. The 2021 iX3 will be based off the X3 crossover. The i4 will be closely aligned to the 4 Series and also built on the CLAR flexible architecture. And the upcoming iNext will also be built on that CLAR platform. More recently, BMW announced that it would make electric versions of the X1 compact SUV, the 5 Series and the 7 Series sedans, which likely means that they will also be electric conversions on the same architecture as their internal combustion engine equivalents. The BMW Group recently affirmed its commitment to having 25 electric models on the road by 2023. Half of them, we're told, will be fully electric. This is a big claim from the automaker, and it does prove that BMW is sort of taking EVs seriously. However, if BMW is actually making this level of commitment into electrification, it doesn't make sense to not build a ground-up, fully electric architecture. If we are one day going to reach a point where all automakers phase out petrol vehicles completely, then there is going to be a day whenever all vehicles are built from the ground up to be electric. Why should automakers put off this transition? Well, because of this impending shift, it would make the most sense for automakers to not start developing ground-up EVs, for a time at least, to be manufactured next to their petrol-powered siblings, so that one day, when the time comes, petrol vehicles can be fully phased out. Developing ground-up EVs will ultimately allow for a smoother transition down the road. That's it for today's video. I'm glad you stopped by, and thanks again to today's scriptwriter, Morgan Thiers. If you'd like to help us make more videos like this, please do like, comment and subscribe, and you can support us using the links below, which now include Ko-fi, Patreon and Bitcoin. Don't forget as well that you can chat with the rest of the team on Discord as well as Transport Evolved fans. There's a link below, and if you're a Patreon supporter, you'll get instant access to our special Patreon-only channels within that Discord server. Thanks to the folks scrolling by on my right. They are our charged up patrons. Thanks also go to Jeffrey Songster, John Lyons and Regine Fellows, who are our self-driving patrons. And special thanks to our Starman level patrons, Marcel Ward, Reggie Watts, JP Fagerback and Sean Udea. If you're looking for something special to watch from the channel, then please, why not take a look at the Google suggestion right next to me? Check it out if you haven't. And I'll be back soon with more great content for you all to enjoy. Until next time, wash your hands, stay safe, wear a mask when you're out and about, and work to become a better, kinder person, strive for equality, speak out against injustices and bullies, and treat others as you'd like to be treated yourself. And please, if you are out and about and exercising your democratic right to peacefully assemble and protest, please keep your wits about you. Be that change. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, keep evolving.